and welcome back to the Love to Mom podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jerry, and I'm joined by my forgetful mother, Christi. I already used that one
You did.
for Paris, Texas,
Yes, you
but
did.
it feels more apropos with this one.
You're right. You're
Yes.
absolutely right. Hi, everyone.
Hello. This is a bit of a change. You're in town, so we're doing it live.
I'm here with my baby.
She's wearing my sweatshirt.
I am. It's cold in here. It's so cold in here.
But as the title suggests, we are reviewing regarding Henry. And my dog is in the room. If you hear stuff, we couldn't lock her in her crate because she was barking.
She was hearing my voice. She's not used to hearing my voice, and so she was back in the bedroom, which was fine, but she was barking quite a bit. So we're going to try this. We may have to pause later, but we're going to give it a wing.
She's very snorty.
She is.
I'm sure that picks up on my mic anyways, but we're just going to have to make do.
Yeah.
So here we are. This was your pick
Yes.
regarding Henry. This is kind of continuing our chain we've been doing, where we started with Grumpy Old Men that had Ossie Davis in it. I picked Do the Right Thing, which also had Ossie Davis in it.
Yes.
And then you picked regarding Henry, which is it Bill Nunn?
Has Bill Nunn in it.
Bill Nunn, who is Radio Raheem in Do the Right Thing.
And is Bradley in this movie.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's this lovely chain we got going. I didn't think about that going forward.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to try to really think of something that has Annette Bening in it or something.
Oh, boy. Well, there are a lot to choose from. She's very prolific. She's been doing movies since way before the 90s.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I don't know if I've seen any.
Well, later, I have a list of some of them, the ones that she was nominated for Oscars for, so maybe you might want to watch one of those.
Maybe. I guess we'll
see.
We'll see later.
Or you could just go sideways and do whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess that we don't really need to keep the chain going.
No, we don't have to.
We don't have to. But
I've
it is
only
kind
ever
of
seen,
funny.
yeah, and I've only ever seen her in one other, I take it back, two other movies, American Beauty
Yeah.
and Bugsy,
Oh, okay.
which is where she met Warren Beatty,
Oh.
and they are married.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you didn't know, well, there you go. They met on the set of Bugsy, which was not a great movie,
No.
but they are still married. So,
Okay.
yeah, they've been together a long time.
Well, that's nice.
I know.
Maybe I'll pick Bugsy.
It's not very good.
This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's very comic book style. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Dick Tracy. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah.
Similar in style, I feel. Kind of cartoony. But anyway.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
Even though it is bad.
It's bad.
According to you.
Well, and according to her, she's like, it's the only good thing. Meeting him was the only good thing that came out of that movie. She was pregnant. So she got pregnant and then they got married. So, like, getting pregnant with her first, or with her child and marrying him was the best thing that came out of Bugsy, she said.
You know what? That's fair.
I don't know. Whatever.
That is fair. But we aren't talking about Bugsy. We're
No.
talking about regarding Henry.
Yes.
And this was your pick because of the chain. But
Yes.
also there's a lot of interesting things where this was directed by Mike Nichols.
Right?
Who we just covered on Working Girl. Also in Working Girl is Harrison Ford, who's in this
Yes.
movie.
Right?
And then the Bill Nunn connection. There's just a lot of things going on here. This was a perfect pick in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have been saying that. There's a clamor.
Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody's talking.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Our forums are blowing up.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, the reason that this movie came to mind was because when we were watching Do the Right Thing, I had this was not on my big long list of things that I eventually want to get to of movies. But when we were watching Do the Right Thing and I saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, I love him. I loved him in Regarding Henry. That was kind of the first place was, where do I know him from? And then it was, oh yeah, I haven't seen that movie in a really long time. This is 1991. But I just remember watching it and loving that character and loving him. So
Oh, yeah.
it was kind of fun to revisit that after having seen the very, very different character he played in Do the Right Thing.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good starting place.
Yeah.
Because that was the whole reason we picked it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this is the third thing I've seen Bill Nunn in. Because he's obviously Radio Raheem, but he's also Robbie Robertson in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, which is a very minor role.
Okay,
But he plays a editor in the Daily Bugle.
Oh.
So when Peter Parker is turning in his photographs to J.K. Simmons, Robbie Robertson is right there.
I love J.K. Simmons.
Oh, he's so good in those movies and just in general.
In general,
Also,
I love him.
he's great.
Yes.
So yeah, I didn't really know what to expect because Radio Raheem, very quiet guy, very stoic, very serious. Robbie Robertson and Spider-Man is he's like Peter's one friend
Oh,
in the at the newspaper.
okay.
And so I'm like, okay, I don't really know what to expect here because I've seen kind of two extremes. But what I thought was the extreme with Robbie Robertson has been pushed even further in regarding Henry because he is just a delight and
Really
a
is.
joy. And as opposed to his character in Do the Right Thing, he's very loud.
That's
Like,
very true.
He storms in the room wearing his Walkman. He's catcalling other like therapists at
Yeah.
the clinic.
Playing air guitar,
Yeah.
singing for people. Very different.
He's very flamboyant
Very. I
in
love
this
him.
in this movie, and it's great. I thought that he was the highlight of the film, and I wish that we saw more of him
I agree.
because he is very present in the first act. And I guess should we even just like give a brief little thing about what the movie's about? Yeah, before jumping to his character because he kind of comes in a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this movie starts, and Harrison Ford is a lawyer, and he's an asshole.
How do we know that?
Oh, there's so many ways. Let me tell you. Well,
I'll give you number one.
okay, sure.
He has slick back hair.
That was actually going to be the first thing that I said too, which I thought was odd because Harrison Ford never ever looks like that.
No. No, but that's how you know.
Yeah.
He's a bad dude because he has his hair slicked back. That made me laugh. There's a lot of hair stuff in this movie, by
Yeah,
the way.
there is. Yeah, specifically with him, I feel like that's the visual kind of representation of his mental state
I agree.
is the hair.
It is also a great representation of the time that passes because Annette Bening at the beginning of the movie has a wig on that's kind of shorter. And then when later in the movie, hair is longer. Later in the movie, hair is really short. It's like we're seeing, generally speaking, women don't have the same hairstyle for like a week or two. So we know that this is happening over a long period of time because we've had 3 hair changes for Annette Bening in this movie.
That's true.
Okay, go ahead.
But Harrison Ford's an asshole.
Yep.
He's a skeezy lawyer. The first scene of the movie is him being a skeezy lawyer.
Yeah.
Where there's this dude who was in the hospital. I don't think it's ever really said why he's in the hospital or what happens to him. It's just implied that there is some sort of bad medical malpractice and this guy is suing the hospital and Harrison Ford is representing the hospital and he's being so he's like hiding evidence. I think it's implied that he's like hiding the statement from the nurse that would basically like prove that the hospital's at fault.
Right.
And
We find that out at the end.
we do.
Yeah. But
He does like bring it up, but then he like washes over it by saying that the dude's an alcoholic and that he tried to kill himself, so it was probably what he did.
right. Yeah.
Which really is only a defense that would work in the 90s, I think. Because I don't like attitudes around that have changed so much. Where it's like, whatever. This is basic plot synopsis time. Let's not dive into things right now.
Okay.
But yeah, he's being an asshole, and he's a bad dad.
Yeah.
He treats his daughter really poorly. And then he gets shot by John Leguizamo
Yes.
twice.
Which John Leguizamo, I'm like, oh my gosh. We're sitting here watching. I was like, is that John Leguizamo? Oh my gosh. That was funny. I didn't know he was in there.
Yeah, I think we brought it up when we recorded Do the Right Thing.
We did?
We did, but that was...
That he was in it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I think on the IMDb page, I saw him with a gun, and I'm like, oh, he's the guy that shoots Harrison Ford.
Well, I have zero recollection of that. You know, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, he gets shot in the heart and in the head, and somehow Harrison Ford survives,
He does.
which is very realistic, because Harrison Ford has been in 2 helicopter crashes.
I don't know how many, but yes, he has survived some crazy things. Yes.
So I'm assuming that this character was based on him in real life.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, probably.
Superhuman strength.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he was known for.
Sure.
And I guess is known for, even though he's a frail old man now.
He's a frail old man. Makes me sad.
Makes you sad.
Yeah,
He's
I don't
just
know.
an old guy.
It was fun to see him young. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like that when we watched Working Girl too. It was like, oh gosh, he was so handsome and so charming, and you know, I love him now. Even now, I love him.
Oh, yeah.
But it's sad to watch someone get older sometimes. You know,
I guess.
although I feel like he is a better actor than he's ever been now, and maybe he has the opportunity to do more now than he has maybe some in the past. But
You're talking specifically about his role in Shrinking.
Shrinking, yeah.
You aren't talking about him being Red Hulk in Captain
No.
America: Brave New World. Okay.
Or in the Star Wars
Oh yeah, the Star Wars. Yeah.
ones, the newer ones.
He is in the Star Wars.
In the Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, continue with your synopsis.
Well, that's pretty much it. That's the crux of the that's the impetus
That's
for
the
the
setup.
story.
Yeah, that's the setup for the story.
Yeah, he gets shot.
Yeah.
And so basically the story is him, it's like a big rehab story, essentially, I guess that's the first act. They kind of drop that, which is maybe my problem with this movie, is that it kind of feels like that should be the whole movie, is him like rehabilitating.
Oh, but wouldn't you say that while he was doing physical rehabilitation, this movie also focuses on the rehabilitation of his relationships with other people and his reconciliation with himself, which is also a recovery from
Sure.
this incident. Okay.
Yes.
So really,
agree.
I mean, I get the physical part is important, but I think you can only watch the physical part for so long.
Yeah.
It's that reintegration into your life that's causes additional issues because
That's
you're not the
true.
same person you were.
I just think it didn't get enough time
Okay.
because
You liked Bradley.
I did.
I know, me too.
I would have to be honest with myself. It's maybe not a problem with the movie. It's maybe a problem with me just wanting more Brad.
You can never have enough Bradley. He's amazing.
Exactly.
I know, I love him.
I was like so excited when like he gets into that hospital and then he meets Bradley and we get a couple of scenes with Henry and Bradley being friends and he's helping him out. And I was like, I'm so down. And then Bradley disappears and I'm like, where's Bradley?
I know.
This is like when we watched that terrible John Travolta movie with Scatman Crothers
Two of
in
a
it.
kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, where the hell is Scatman Crothers? Come on, this movie should be about him.
Oh my gosh. That is funny. Oh no. I saw something the other day about Catman Scruthers.
Yeah?
Scatman Crothers.
Catman Scruthers?
Isn't it? Oh no. Oh no. And I was like, oh. Okay, shoot. It was a song. I think I was listening to something on Spotify.
Oh.
And he was singing in it.
Yeah. He's a musician.
I got it.
Hold the presses.
This. He did one of the voices in Aristocats.
I think you sent that to me.
Did I send it to
I think
you?
so, yeah.
Yeah, because we weren't really talking about him, but you just brought him up, so now I have to share that with the whole world. He did a voice in Aristocats, everyone. That was so, it was a clip of him singing with the guy that originally played Thomas O'Malley, which was the main orange cat. And the two of them were standing as older men, like kind of reprising that, singing that song together.
Okay, you
It
did
was
not
very
send me
cute.
that.
I didn't?
I don't think so.
What did I send you?
I thought you just sent me like a clip of the Aristocats and being like, this
No.
is Scatman Crothers.
No. No. Are you sure?
Or unless someone else sent me something about
I
the
doubt it.
Aristocats.
I will find it and I will let you watch it. But it's them as older guys, the two guys that sang that original, who sang those parts. They were just standing there together for some press something, and they started like just randomly came out with it, and it was so great. Okay,
I would like to see that video.
I will show it to you.
But we have a podcast
We
to
do.
record right now.
Yes, we do.
About regarding Henry, and Scatman Crothers, unfortunately, is not in
No,
this
he's
film.
not. But that is how you felt when whenever Scatman was on Two of a Kind, it just brightened your day, and then when he
did.
wasn't there, it made you sad. And that is kind of how you felt about Bill Nunn.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
would say so.
All right. Well, see, it's relevant. It's all relevant.
It's relevant.
We go in tangents, but it is all relevant. We're not just randomly bringing up things.
No, I'm not known for randomly bringing up Scatman Crothers. It's
Okay.
not my MO.
Okay.
But it should be.
It should
I love
be.
that guy.
I mean, this could be a Stan account or something, like
Yeah.
we love him. Okay.
Yeah, that would be
We should see what other movies he's been in. I wonder if he's been in other movies.
The Shining.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
gets-
don't speak of that.
He gets sliced up with an
Yeah.
axe.
Do you know of anything else?
No.
I don't either.
Aristocats.
Well, yeah. All right, Aristocats. We're back to it. Okay.
I forgot where we were.
So he finished therapy
Yes.
with Bradley,
Okay.
and he went back home.
Yes. And then hilarity ensues.
Oh,
It's basically like, I think it's tough because I think after that point the movie kind of rides a line. And I guess I should jump out before I say anything too negative. Is that I did like this movie quite a bit. I thought it was very heartwarming and very nice. I think that the performances all around were really good. I'm a big fan whenever actors play. I think I've seen the term "simple Jack" thrown around.
oh.
I don't know if
never
that's
heard of
a
that.
politically correct term, but it's what I was seeing when I was looking up reviews for this.
Oh,
Where it's like someone who's like so naive that kind of like they make the world a better place by being so naive.
they're not jaded by the world.
Yes.
Got it.
Kind of like this is a different kind of example, but Elf
Yes,
is kind
right.
of in that same kind
That's
of.
a good example.
Yeah. And so when it was like some of that stuff, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Where like there's these little things where like he'll misinterpret something. Or like one of the funniest scenes in the movie was in the Central Park. They're kissing on the bench, and then they see one of their old friends, and they're like, "Okay, big kiss." And he's like, "Okay," and they just start smooching his wife. Like, okay, I like that. That's so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like moments like that where, because we see him before, and he's a
Right.
total asshole.
Yep.
And then we see him after, and like the things that he was like complaining about before, he now likes, like the dining room table.
Right. Which that was one of my favorites. I love that.
Yeah.
It was just a very offhand comment as he's walking in the door, and I just was like, oh, that's so cute. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and stuff like that is really really good. And I think I feel like I'm dominating. Am I dominating the conversation?
Well, you're still giving the synopsis, so you're good.
Oh, well, I was kind
going.
of getting into analysis here.
Go for it.
Okay.
But we didn't really give well, when we do analysis, we'll end up finishing up this description of what happened, so that's fine.
Well, I feel like if you're aware of how movies go, he gets good. He turns into a good guy.
He does. But there are complications along the way.
Yeah. There are.
I mean, I think this, like many, like I'm thinking of Grumpy Old Men, where it's like, this is a very basic storyline. Bad guy turns into good guy. Everything turns out in the end.
Sure.
Okay. But what I like about both this and that is that you can take it and you can watch it at that level of just like watching plot and stuff. But when you really pick apart some of the things that they're doing, I think sometimes it's kind of sneaky, the things that sometimes overt, sometimes not overt, but the things that you can really pick apart from this movie if you really sit and think about it a little bit.
Sure.
Not that I'm trying to sell it to say this was like a, cinematic masterpiece. That is not my point. But I do think, like, I can feel germinating in me right now this whole thing of like, oh, there are so many things really we could talk about that they throw in there that are very small parts of this film, but that really are big things.
Sure.
Like I'm thinking about the infidelity part and, there's just, and the relationship with his daughter. And there's a lot to that and understanding that, he's coming into this situation and we don't know their past. We know 5 minutes or 10 minutes of him being a total jerk to his kid.
Yeah.
And we know he's sleazy. That's really kind of all we know about him. What we're getting from him is as he's learning, again, kind of like, this is kind of, well, maybe not, but I think like as he's learning about himself, we're learning about him.
Yeah.
And I think that's a kind of a fun device to be, because we are in his place as the watcher. We don't know what's happening either.
Yeah.
And so I think I like that works out that way to make us kind of walk into the situation fairly blind as well.
Yeah. No, I think the framing device is great.
Yeah.
Like how the actual, like the setup of it is perfect. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't spend too much time with jerk Harrison Ford. Like
Yeah.
we saw enough to know this is not a good dude. Like I don't like him. He's not good to his kid. He makes his kid feel bad. And then he like turns it around to himself and how amazing he was in court that day. Instead of like comforting her, he's like, Dad won his case today. All right, good night. And walks out the door.
He didn't even apologize. That was the whole reason he went in that room.
Yes. Well, and even Annette Bening's character, like at the beginning, they're all wrapped up in this shallow lifestyle. They're going to parties and they're talking about all the things they're going to buy. And, so we don't get a lot of that. But, I mean, even in just the 10 minutes of that we saw, you get a very clear picture of where they are right now.
Yeah.
And it's not great. Like, daughter is extremely unhappy, and there's no one there that is, really supporting her. Like, they're getting ready to send the kid off to boarding school at 12, which makes me sad for her. And she's scared, and nobody is, helping her out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. But, I think that, I guess that's the part of the movie that works, is that kind of like reconciliation. I think this movie just left me wanting more. And as I hate to say it, I think I wanted more Harrison, which feels weird to say because the movie's about him. Yeah. He's the main character. But it was like, I feel like a lot of his natural charisma kind of had to take a back seat because of the performance that he was doing.
Right.
To the point where I'm like, I don't even know if Harrison Ford is necessarily the right actor for this role. Where like something like, what's that movie called? Robert De Niro and
Awakenings.
Awakenings. Robert De Niro's perfect in that. And that's like, he's a charismatic guy also, but he's also like capable of playing sleazeballs, which is mostly what he does.
Yeah.
So it's really nice in that movie to see him like wake up and like get that rehabilitation and like, all that stuff is really, really nice. But it feels like, and don't get me wrong, I like Bill Nunn. Harrison Ford would have been also really good as Brad.
Yeah.
Because, like, I could totally see Harrison being, like, this cool, funny, like nurse guy.
Oh, yeah. It would have been fun to see him play something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel like he's had much chance to do something
No.
of
Well,
that nature.
and speaking of what he's doing now, I think like Shrinking is the first like comedy
Yeah.
he's really been given the chance to do, which is a shame.
It
Because
is.
he's really funny.
He's very funny.
Yeah, like both on and off camera. Like I love watching. Like there's that famous Conan episode with Harrison Ford.
That is my favorite.
Yeah,
I had no idea he was so quick-witted.
yeah,
Like, I know he's funny. You can see glimpses of it when you watch him in movies. That charm, that twinkle, all of that. But listening to that Conan and listening to his delivery and his sarcasm and how quickly he is able to come up with a retort to something that someone says, it was so impressive and so funny. I just loved it.
yeah. And I think like we do get little glimpses of that. The one that I
Yeah.
can think of in this movie is unfortunately when he's playing an asshole.
Oh,
Is when Annette Bening says, "Don't forget your keys," and he walks through, and then he like sleeks back in and grabs it. And I'm like, okay, that's genuinely like really funny.
Yeah.
And how he did that like sells that joke because on paper, that's not even really a joke.
yeah.
All of that is in the performance. And like, yeah, just like the look on his face, like he's like, she's right, of course she is, whatever.
Yes.
And so like, there's little stuff like that, but then like after the accident, I feel like, I'm like, oh, geez, get De Niro in here. I don't know.
Well, at first, I think especially when he's first coming out of the coma or whatever they had him in as he was recovering, he had no facial expression.
Yeah.
Like, and that is, he wouldn't have facial expression as he's getting all those things back. And so they take that charisma and it's tamped down. That light is dimmed.
Yeah.
And it was almost hard to watch him do that because it really did feel like a loss.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm watching him, with this dead facial affect, it's like, oh gosh, where is that twinkle that I love so much?
Yeah.
But I feel like when he comes back, when he starts working his way back to himself, well, and not even to himself, to someone new, the joy, the wonder and the joy and the like learning new things. And I love that his daughter is the one that taught him how to read.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he didn't teach her how to read. He was too
Right.
busy working. That whole conversation he had with
The maid.
I can't remember her name. Rosalina? I don't think that's right.
I don't remember what her
I don't
name
remember
was.
either. But anyway, what did I do when I wasn't working? You were always working.
Yeah.
So he was not involved in raising his daughter. And she is critically involved in him turning into the person that he is.
Oh, yeah.
She's like she has taken this situation, and when she could have been like, you weren't there for me, I'm not there for you, but instead let me tell you, people, there's nothing more painful than teaching your children how to read. And you get a little bit of that, and I was like, I kept waiting for them to cut that sentence. I kept waiting for them to cut it because I was like, this is torture to sit here and listen to him sound words out.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They did the whole thing. And I also liked that the book that they were reading is Are You My Mother? That's a book that is very special to me. But anyway, but then it's like, okay, but then the next scene, he's reading briefs. He's reading
Yeah.
court transcripts. But the other thing I have to remember, and that's what they were trying to tell us with the hair,
Time. Yeah.
is that this was really over time. It feels like it's the next day, but it's not the next day. We know because Annette Bening's hair has grown like 4 inches. So it's been a while. So for me, some of that went kind of fast. It's like the therapy part was kind of slow and methodical. And then once he got out of the hospital, things felt like it accelerated really quickly. But I think it's because they skipped ahead quite a bit. You couldn't tell the breadth of that story and do it justice all the way through if you were going to be more detailed on like, oh, we're watching him gradually become a better reader.
Yeah.
Oh, we're watching him gradually get his speech back where he's now a fluent speaker. That felt very fast
Yes.
in the movie, but I just don't, unless you were telling a smaller story, I don't think you could show that progression as much. I feel like after that, at that point, then it really starts jumping ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's... I think pacing is a big issue here. Because, like you said, a lot of that stuff is too fast almost. Where it is the next scene that he's reading, like,
Yeah.
legal briefings, and he's, like, not reading out loud. Like, that takes a long time
If ever.
Yeah.
I mean, although he's an attorney, maybe it's in there still, but like I read stuff like that, and I'm like, I have zero idea what this means.
Yeah. I mean,
know?
yeah. I'm just thinking more like reading because even like kids go what, like 2 years at least to
Oh,
go
with
from,
the very beginnings.
yeah, just from going from like reading out loud to like just starting reading to like reading fluently in your head.
Yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I'm like, kids' brains are pretty plasticky. Like, they should pick that up, like, faster than an adult would.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. Like, this is a movie.
Right.
But also, it's just like, there needs to be more of an in-between there. To jump from barely reading the title of a children's book to reading legal documents.
Yeah.
That feels like we jumped a little bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all depends on the story you're wanting to tell.
Yeah.
And this story is one that takes place over a pretty long period of time,
Yeah.
even though we're not getting that sense of time other than the hair.
Yeah.
Like, we're really not getting that. The daughter isn't growing older. She still hasn't gone back to school. So like, we know she's going to school.
Yeah.
And she's at school, but she hasn't finished the year. So it hasn't been, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think when we're looking at that sort of stuff, like his progression, that you're right. It's not very clearly laid out. And it feels like maybe we're trying to tell 2 stories,
Yeah.
and maybe it should have been 1 movie. Or 2 movies. Like,
Yeah.
we should have had a story about what that rehabilitation is like. And maybe we end it with him coming home. And then we know that a new journey is going to begin at that point. Like, we don't see the full. And then we have somebody who, like, we open a movie with, we know that this person had a brain injury and he's been through a lot and he has no memories. And then we look at what that looks like.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a big story to tell.
It is.
And I think the movie was really short.
103 minutes.
Yeah, that's short.
That is short.
And that's a lot of story in a short amount of time.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think, like, going back, I think the like biggest parallel that I can kind of draw to this movie is Paris, Texas, which feels weird because they're vastly different.
Very different.
But like, just seeing like Travis at the beginning also doesn't talk.
Yep.
And then like, it is like so subtle where like he says one word and then he'll like, oh, it'll be like a couple hours later. And now he's like able to kind of form sentences, but like it's so subtle, his progression over
Right.
the course of that movie, to where like by the end, it's like night and day. Like it is 2 different people.
Yep.
And Paris, Texas, like, kind of earns that. Like, it's a longer movie. We get to see that kind of progression. It's like, with this one, I feel like they wanted to have their cake and eat it, too. They kind of wanted it to fit into, like, a 90-minute time frame.
Right.
And I'm not against short movies or anything.
So just a big story for 90 minutes.
Yeah. In fact, I think most movies should be 90 minutes. There's no reason that a Marvel movie should be 3 hours
Yeah,
long.
I agree. 100% agree.
Yeah, you need to get in, shoot the laser, and then get out. But with something like this, or some sort of like, this is like a real medical drama. Something like this deserves the time to really dig into those details. And that was also something where it was like, I need more. And this might just be me being the weirdo science freak, where I'm like, I want more of the specifics. Like, they kind of go into like, oh, it pierced this artery, and then it like the frontal lobe, and he got apoxia, and I'm like, okay. But then, like, all of that medical stuff is kind of dropped, and I'm like, oh, this isn't real anymore.
Well, yeah, right.
I don't know. That's a minor
Yeah,
complaint.
I mean, it's kind of tricky. It's a tricky thing because I think that both parts of that story are worth telling.
Yeah.
I really, the second part of that movie, while I really miss Bradley,
Yes.
and I was so happy when he came back for that just one little scene, but what a powerful scene that was.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to talk about that as well, but I'll come back to it.
That's the scene of the movie.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I can think of two scenes where I'm like, that is a nugget right there. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, but the idea of, for me, I'm a sucker about relationships.
Yes.
And so I think anyone who's been around someone who's had a traumatic brain injury and you see that road that it is to come back, but also the ways that they've changed. And that it's not just the journey of that person, it's the journey of the people around that person. And I feel like they did a pretty good job of at least giving us glimpses of, especially Annette Bening's character,
Yeah.
where she's like, this isn't the person I married. That's hard.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really hard thing. And she was, holding up not only fear of the person who's earning the money in their house is now incapacitated, and we don't know for how long.
Yep.
And they're in this really fancy house, and all their friends are super wealthy, and people are talking about her behind her back. And like she was carrying the weight of the world on those shoulders. And yet when her daughter would ask her, she would be positive. Like she's in her room crying, and her daughter comes in and she's like, oh, it's great, it's fine. Like, which there is something, she's 12. She doesn't need to know all of the really hard things. But as someone who is a, sometimes even maybe to the point of toxicity, positive person,
Sure.
sometimes it's okay to feel hard things, to acknowledge that something is hard. You don't have to immediately go to everything's okay. But with a child, that child needs to know everything is okay. And so she then not only is dealing with her own stuff, but also trying to make it feel safe for her daughter.
Sure.
To not worry about money, to not worry about all the things that she is worrying about. And also, like, who is my husband going to be?
Yeah.
When he comes back to himself, who's he going to be? Is he going to, and obviously he's not, and that's for the better. But those relationship things with her daughter, even like at work, the sleazy guy that's his partner,
Yeah. Bruce.
Bruce is in the movie Rookie of the Year, and he plays the stepdad who's a total jerk.
So he's good at playing sleazeball.
Oh, man, yes. I mean, there are those people where you're like, every time they show up, yeah, you're going to be a sleaze. I know you're going to be a sleaze, and that's just who you are, and that's the thing. Jack Nicholson, the guy from Break-In, although he wasn't as sleazy in Break-In.
Oh.
But every movie he's in, and he showed up. What movie was he in that we watched the other day, and he popped in? I can't remember now. But he played a jerk.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
either.
I mean, like, he is the guy. He walks in, you're like, oh, there's the villain. I know him. I've seen him a million times. This guy. This is the only other movie I've ever seen him in. I don't think he ever really went anywhere. But, man, you want to punch him in the face in Rookie of the Year. Have you ever seen that? Dang. Do you know the story?
No.
I'm just going to give you a real quick.
Wait, is that the one with the Cubs?
Yes, and he injures his arm and he becomes like a super fast pitcher, and he's like 12 years old.
I've seen that.
Well, his stepdad is like, he's kind of like the typical dance mom or whatever, who's like, "Arr." And he just wants to have fun, and mom just wants him to have fun. But stepdad's like, no, you have to be successful. You're making money for us.
Oh.
He's a jerk.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
I think I watched that when I was 12.
Yeah, you were little. I love it. That is another one of my favorite movies. But anyway, all of that to say, like, you're seeing his relationships at work, his relationship with his wife, everything changes. And work is trying to do the right thing
Yes.
by, like, continuing to keep him employed. You know, and that is noble. It is, you know, they're trying to care for their family. That is a great thing. But they're also not giving him credit for what he can do, kind of infantilizing him.
Yes.
And he is still an adult, and he's still, you know, a person. And I felt like he was very dismissed. But I know, like, the oldest guy, like, he really does care about him. It's not like he's being, you know, trying to be mean.
No.
He's trying to support and be supportive, but it just isn't, you know, it's not who he is anymore. And so it's hard for him to be there, and they don't know what to do with him. And that's hard too. Like, how do you find your place when everything you knew is gone and you have no hobbies, and you, other than painting Ritz cracker paintings, which
those are awesome.
So funny. I know.
I want one of those.
I know, they're cool. Yeah. So it's the relational stuff. Like, I'm watching Annette Bening, and I'm like, yeah, like, this is hard. I can see that this is hard. Her crying scenes, she did a really good job crying. Fantastic. And we even saw some emotion out of Harrison Ford. Like, there were a few times where I was like, oh, I see the lip quiver, Harrison. I see what you're doing there. I can, like, and I love when he is vulnerable like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see, because I feel like he has this reputation for, you know, action hero dude.
Yeah.
And so when you actually get to see him emote and do things that are a little more tender, I love that.
Yeah. That's the thing about Harrison Ford that I think people don't give him, like, enough credit, is that he is, like, a really, really talented actor. Where, like, I feel like, I mean, he's big in so many, like, huge movies, like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Blade Runner, but like, this dude takes the craft seriously. Sorry, should have turned off my PlayStation.
I was like, what
when we
is
did
that?
this. My DualSense wireless controller is low. So
Oh, okay.
that's fine. But I think that Harrison Ford is, like, a genuinely good actor.
Yeah.
Whether it's something like this or if it's something like Blade Runner or Shrinking, it's like he can do all of these different things, and he does them all very well. We're getting all sorts of interruptions today. It's my dog just stretching out.
And sighing, a nice big sigh. I was like, that could sound like a fart. I hope people don't think I'm farting. No, that was her sighing.
She's just sleepy.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, like, that's something I'm always impressed with when I see a Harrison Ford movie, where there are those, like, staples, and I was kind of watching for them this time, where, like, he gets, like, this, like, I don't know if I can do it. I can't do a Harrison Ford.
Aw.
The only thing I can do is he does the rubber face thing,
Okay.
which I don't think he did it in this one, but I know for a fact that he does it a lot in Indiana Jones. But, like, it's where you, like, completely relax your jaw and your mouth's a little bit open. You turn around, you're like, that is dead set Harrison Ford. Like, that is something he does all the time.
Huh.
And now that I say it, you're gonna notice it all the time. He hasn't done it in Shrinking because he doesn't, like, turn around really fast. But whenever he whips his head, he's like,
He did that.
huh?
He did that in this movie.
He did?
When he was laying in the hospital bed. Because he was slack-jawed, and he, like, turned real quick for something, and it was like, yes, he did do that.
That's
but I
his
haven't seen
signature
him,
move.
haven't seen him do it in Shrinking, but, I mean, that's 2 seasons worth of things. If I was watching for it, maybe I would have seen it.
I think he does. I
Yeah.
think, but it's, like, way more subtle now. Because, like, he doesn't have, like,
Well, now his lip,
well, yeah.
because we're old and wrinkly.
Yeah.
It's not as attractive.
No, I notice a lot, and he does it a lot in Blade Runner, where it's like he'll get, like, jostled around and he'll, like, do stuff like that. And I love that we're recording this on camera, so I can.
I know, like almost full body shot.
Yeah. So now you can
funny.
see my Harrison Ford acting.
That was amazing. I mean, really, Oscar worthy.
Okay. Well, for your consideration.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So, like, there are those moments in this movie.
Sure.
And he has those staples, and I'm glad that we did see those. But it's just like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot of, like, wasted potential, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just doing a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've said that a few times, but it really is. The scope is too big for that short a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if this movie was like 2.5 hours long, like really give both the like physical and relationship rehabilitation more time,
Right.
because there is like a big time jump in the beginning
Yeah.
where it's like he's in a wheelchair, then he's in a walker, and then it's
Yep.
a montage, and then he's leaving.
Right.
It's like, okay, there should have been more stuff there. And then there's like a lot of time jumps in the like post him going home, where it's like, I'm glad that like a lot of the father-daughter stuff was there. I actually think most of the relationship stuff was good.
Yeah.
It's like there needs to be more him, like I don't know. Maybe
Would
I'm
you-
too hung up on the physical.
Would you have taken, would you, okay, let's say, so you are given this hour and a half time, and you have to cut to make this like a deep story. Would you remove all the work stuff? Would you focus more on the home, marriage, family, like, or how would you cut, what would you cut to be able to delve more into the stuff that you're interested in seeing more of?
I have to separate everything about this movie to do that, because
Yeah.
I would cut out all the hospital stuff.
Okay.
I think what I would do if I was a award-winning screenwriter, J.J. Abrams.
Yes. First movie, by the way.
First movie. He's in it too.
Yeah. As Jeffrey,
As Jeffrey Abrams.
the grocery delivery man.
Which I had to like, that's him.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, I like it.
I don't recognize him without the hair
Yeah, and the glasses.
and the glasses.
Yeah.
Well, at first I thought it was John Leguizamo, and I was like, oh, he's going to recognize him, and the's going to be a big old thing happen. Like,
gonna
that's how
shoot
much I
him again.
remember about this movie. But yeah, no, I wouldn't have recognized him for sure.
No.
I'm used to his hair.
Yeah, if I was hack screenwriter J.J. Abrams, I think what I would do is... now I'm picturing this as like an A24 movie.
Okay.
Where it's like we start off and they're already home. I think Harrison Ford, his character, Henry is like in a hospital bed, and like we open on Annette Bening taking care of him. Or like The Help. And maybe we like expand this to be like, he's even more of an asshole. He's like a billionaire tech CEO. Maybe like modernize it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, like over the course of that like moment where he's like kind of speechless, then we'll kind of like get the impression of what he was like before the
It's like
shooting.
some flashback sort of things, or not really?
Not even. I think what I would do is I would have like dialogue between characters, where like maybe I'm just spitballing here. Don't hate me too much. But like maybe the guy who I don't know. Maybe, oh shoot, this is tough. I don't know how to fix this movie.
Yeah.
Because I really like the courtroom scene at the beginning. I
Yeah.
think that perfectly illustrates that character being an asshole. But like, to have that, maybe, I don't know.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It does a lot, and it is hard to know
Yeah.
like how to pare it down, because you miss things. No matter what you're cutting out of it, you're missing things that are delightful, because there are
Yeah.
delightful moments throughout and things that are worth keeping. And then maybe that was JJ's problem. Is like,
Maybe.
but I don't want to cut any of this because I really like the courtroom scene. I think it serves a good function. And I really like Bradley, because we all do.
Yes.
And so watching that rehab is important. And then we really like the relationship stuff of them like coming back together. And then you find out, oh, things were more complicated than we even thought. And we
Yeah.
can still work through it and be like, we're different people now, and we can We can move past the hard things that we've been through.
That's true. I mean, like, that's the stuff that the movie does right.
Right.
That's tough because what you're saying is true. Where there's like great stuff peppered throughout, but then there's like, just like one decision after another where it's just like, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Just, little tweaks here and there. Some scenes added. I don't even know. This is an odd one where it's like I wouldn't even cut anything necessarily. Like I feel like all the stuff that's there is good.
Right.
It just needed more.
Needed to be longer?
Yeah. If it's going to be in this scope.
Right.
Which is why I'm like shrink it down.
Which at this time I don't know that movies were not as long as they are now. Back in the early 90s, we're talking 92, like
unless you're Kevin Costner.
Yeah, right. And that was very unusual. Or Schindler's List or, some epic movie. Those were long. But for the most part, like an hour and a half, hour and 45, that was pretty typical. Yeah, you're right. Like all parts of this movie are necessary to tell the story. It just has to be longer.
Yeah.
So that you can delve a little bit more into those areas where it needs a little bit more time to cook a little here. And I need more time to cook here. Yeah.
I think like a great example of like something similar to this movie is The Big Sick.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Where we get plenty of stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
But that's different because, see, this is where it gets tricky. And I think this is why this movie is tough to like try to fix, is because it is this redemption thing.
Yeah.
So you have to start with the guy being an asshole.
Right.
But The Big Sick is like really great because it starts off and there's this huge chunk before The Big Sick where it's just like a relationship drama.
Yeah.
And then the sick happens.
Right.
And then it's a medical drama.
Right.
And with the relationship stuff like peppered in.
So good.
Yeah, like that movie is fantastic.
Oh, so good. Love it. Ray Romano.
Oh, so good.
I love him so.
Yeah, he's great.
Really, really good. He was really good in Parenthood too, by the way.
Oh.
He played an autistic man in Parenthood.
Oh.
And dang, he was amazing. And that was when I had first seen him do a dramatic role. I only knew him from Everybody Loves Raymond,
Sure.
which he'd never acted before then. He was just a stand-up comic. And then who knew he had that in him? And then when I saw Big Sick, I was like, wow, what a talented actor, like really talented actor. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, I'm trying to think of the name of the movie. He was in some movie that was kind of, it was like this really small indie movie, which was kind of shocking that they got him. I can't think of what it's called.
I feel like I know it. Was there fishing in it or something? Were they on a boat?
No.
Okay.
No, the one that I'm thinking of, it was him and some other guy. But it's this relationship between the two.
Okay.
They're neighbors. They both live in an apartment building. And I think they're just like kind of friendly with each other, kind of acquaintances. But the other guy gets cancer. And so then he decides that he's going to get like the physician-assisted suicide. He's going to get the suicide drugs. And he goes to Ray Romano for help.
Wow.
I don't
think I've seen this.
I haven't either. I think I just watched a review of it once.
Yeah.
I think it was the Red Letter Media guys. And they were like singing its praises to and fro, being like Ray Romano's fantastic in it. The relationship between them is really, really good.
That sounds like something I would like. That sounds lovely.
The suicide, I think he kills himself.
Well, but it's the relationship part.
Oh.
It's the.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad.
It's sad.
But I don't know. I like relationship stuff. I would like it.
I'll have to try to find the name of that movie.
Yeah. I could do it right now, but you don't want me clickety-clacketing on my laptop.
I'll just quickly
But we were in the middle of another thought, and I don't remember what it was. You said, this is what The Big Sick does well. Okay, because it was a regular movie, and then it was a medical drama at the end.
Yeah, I think it does those two things really, really well. And, like, the medical stuff at the end of The Big Sick feels earned because we have spent all this time with these characters and learned just, like, all about them. And it's like this, because isn't it like the relationship ends and then... like she gets sick and then it's like this whole like kind of push and pull, like should I even be here?
Right.
There's like all those questions.
Yeah, because he's hanging out with her parents in the waiting room, and
Oh yeah, because Ray Romano's her dad. Mm-hmm. Okay.
very
It's been a minute
complicated.
since I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's so good.
Yeah, I don't know
it's
if I can. I think I watched it in high school, and I think like later you guys watched it again, and I'm like, I can't.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
because it like gut punched me the first time I saw it, and I should probably.
I feel
revisit
like
it
you
now.
watch a lot harder things than that.
Probably.
Because, well, I don't want to, I mean, it's an older movie, but like, it's not like we have a dying scene where your like heart is being wrenched from your body.
No.
You know what I mean? It is, for me, again, that's another one of those that has that redemption
Yes.
at the end. And that's, that's why I can watch it again. Because I'm like, it doesn't leave you in a desolate despair land. It's,
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I like that redemption.
It's there.
Reconciliation.
And I think like there's part of that in this movie, but like it just doesn't feel completely earned. It just feels too fast. We jumped the gun. We're like, when it ended, I'm like, it's over?
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like we're just talking in circles saying that this movie needs to be longer. But
And at the beginning, we're like, movies don't need to be long.
don't need to be longer.
Well, let me make a
general.
suggestion. I would say that what would make sense to me would be to cut either the marriage or the daughter. And then
Yes.
I think that might work because those two relationships are so big and take up so much space that I feel like if you did one or the other, you could really delve a lot more into
Yeah.
that and still have time to look at like, well, what does this recovery mean for this relationship?
Yes.
I mean, he could have been a single dad. I mean, it could have been, who knows? There's a lot of possibilities there, but I feel like trying to go through how a parent-child relationship changes and how a romantic relationship changes is a lot. So maybe if I were going to cut, I want to keep the relationship stuff in there, but maybe it's just one instead of both.
Yeah.
And the work stuff. Maybe the work is a little more on the side. And it's, like we can see that they care about him, but I don't know that I need to see all the work stuff. We understand that he was a jerk. We understand that, and that reconciliation, or the part where he goes to the apartment and says, hey, okay, here's the thing. I didn't need all the work stuff for me to understand what he was doing there.
Yeah.
I appreciated that they were trying to show that they were trying to care for him. That part I did care about. But I feel like some of that could be trimmed down, and then I would say one or the other on the relationship with the family because it's just too much.
I think I would agree. Yeah. And I would go with the daughter stuff for sure.
Me too.
Yeah, that's like the heart of the movie. To where like, now that you mention it, I'm like, yeah, the marriage infidelity stuff kind of comes out of nowhere, especially on like Annette Bedding's part, where it's like, it's kind of foreshadowed, and like, honestly, keep him being a scuzzbag and him like having the affair. And like, that could be a really great dramatic moment. He never tells her. What is up with that?
Not in the part that we've seen. No, but I mean, does he in the future? He would, because that's who he is now.
Yeah.
He will tell her.
That should have.
But she's carrying a lot of that weight but yeah. And here's the other thing. Maybe they both acknowledged it. Like maybe it was like this open thing. You have your thing, I'll have my thing. We don't really know enough about that to say one way or the other. But yeah, the foreshadowing with the letters at the beginning, where he finds it, he's looking at it, but he can't read at that point. Right?
I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah.
And then that same blue card when he gets that gift from the partner, from the scuzzy guy.
Yeah. I mean, like, that was a good scene. Like, that all tracks.
Yeah.
I was, like, like, when he, like, first comes back to work and he sees the chick that he was sleeping with.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, they're.
Yeah.
I was going to say a naughty word, but I was like, I'm going to hold my tongue.
Thank
I'm like,
you.
they were banging.
That doesn't feel a lot better.
They were banging.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, right. Because you could see it on her face.
You could.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we got something there.
I almost wish that they didn't outright say it. Where, like, he goes to the hotel and then she's just there.
Yeah.
And then there's like this whole confession. And I'm like, just leave it at that little moment because I think we all get it. Like, because she's like, you can see she likes this guy, but there's like this unrequited thing.
Right.
Like she's obviously hurt by these circumstances. And I think just like leaving it at that and leaving that up to our imagination would be like way more effective.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, we get it. We don't need to be spoon-fed.
Right.
And this is a J.J. Abrams staple.
Spoon feeding.
Spoon-feeding the audience. Just being a bad screenwriter in general. I have beef with J.J. Abrams.
I know you do. I really liked his writing on Alias.
Yeah.
I liked Lost, too. I thought Lost was really good.
Yeah.
So he's a good TV writer. He needs to be able to cook a little bit more, maybe.
Maybe
The 90-minute or 2 hour or whatever doesn't fit his scope of storytelling. Maybe he is more like I need to be a showrunner, where I have more time to tell my story and I can delve deeper because he obviously has stories to tell.
Yeah.
And he wants to tell a big story, but we just don't have enough time. Whereas with TV, you would.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the problem with Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, well, I mean, I haven't seen it. In fact, I saw, what was the number, what would be number 7? What was that
Force Awakens.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see the other two. So
That one was pretty good.
Too. Force Awakens? I liked it. I thought it was good. But I had heard so many people say that it went downhill. I just never watched them.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy because, like, those first 3 were, not the first 3, 4, 5, and 6 were huge staples in my childhood.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I never would have thought I would abandon that trilogy, that new trilogy, even after braving 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that was painful.
Yeah, we don't want to piss off that group of
I
people.
know. I'm an
are,
old
like,
person, so
Well, yeah.
I have that perspective of like those first ones were just so
Yeah.
golden, for me. So I understand that it's not the same for every generation.
Oh, yeah. Well, the people who like actively defend the prequels.
I used to have this portion of dialogue memorized that Natalie Portman says.
In Attack of the Clones?
It's when they're in love.
That's, yeah.
And there was this line, and I cannot remember it now, but it was the worst dialogue I had ever heard. And I had memorized it because it was so bad, and I wanted to be able to say how bad it was.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, it was like, this is just painful.
You could take any line from that movie.
Oh.
That, I was about to say that's the worst Star Wars movie. That's not true.
What's the worst Star Wars movie?
To
In your
me-
opinion?
To me,
Yes.
it's Rogue One.
Really?
Rogue One is the absolute worst Star Wars
I
movie.
kind of liked that one.
I hate that movie.
Why did you hate it? John Boyega's in there. Is that the one, right?
No.
No, what one is it?
Rogue One is the...
Rey?
No. Rogue...
What is that? What am I thinking
You're
of?
thinking of The Force Awakens, the one we were just talking about, number 7.
What's the one where they're in it and the planet explodes or something? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Who's in it? Daisy Ridley?
Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Adam Driver, Lupita Nyong'o.
I mean, it's got good people in it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Rogue One is terrible. It's it was the follow-up to Force Awakens. It was like
Whoa!
she's very snorty. Sorry about that. She has a smushed face. I know
was so loud.
she was on camera like a couple episodes ago, so you know what she looks like.
Yeah, very smushed.
But yeah, she's very snorty.
Her head is enormous.
Rogue One was the first standalone Star Wars movie. It's the tale of how the rebels got the Death Star plans.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking.
I think I liked it.
I don't know if you saw that one.
I think I did.
You did? Mm-hmm. Okay. It was a war movie. You like that?
No.
Okay.
But I think I liked the story. Although it ended in a sad way. Right?
They all die.
Yeah. That I remember.
Yeah.
But I liked the story up until everyone died. That was
Sure. No. I hate pretty much everything about that movie. I was like dead set. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch Andor. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would they make a spin-off for the worst Star Wars movie? And it is the best Star
I was
Wars
gonna say, I
thing
think you
ever.
love it.
Oh yeah. I need to watch the second season.
Okay.
But the first season, I was like, this is like brilliant.
Nice.
Like it is like separate from being a Star Wars thing. Like it is just a legitimately really great political thriller.
Where is that on Disney? Obviously, since they own it, right? Okay.
And I've heard that the second season is even better.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
People,
things to look forward to.
I've seen like diehard Star Wars fans that like defend the prequels and all the new Disney stuff, saying that this is the best Star Wars since the 70s. And I'm like, that's high praise coming from you dorks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're not pussyfooting around it anymore. You were like, be careful. And now look at you. You're calling people dorks.
Well, we're in it now. We're talking about Star Wars in this review of Regarding Henry.
I know. Well, Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
It's relevant.
Yes. Oh, we were talking about J.J. Abrams being a bad screenwriter.
But also Harrison Ford. They're together. Look at that.
It is. Yeah, they are together.
That's kind of nice.
I guess
Like
so.
J.J. Abrams' first movie is with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And then they reunite later in their career.
They sure did.
That's kind of nice. I mean, I know that you don't love it, but
Well,
I like the relationship part.
the thing is, sorry. We're going to keep talking about Star Wars for a second here. But with The Force Awakens, that's the one that you've seen,
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams did not write that movie.
Oh,
That movie is written by Lawrence Kasdan,
okay.
who wrote Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember this because he ended it a certain way, and then J.J. Abrams took it and basically undid everything that was done in the first movie so that he could take it the direction he wanted to. Am I right?
No.
Well, I thought I had heard somebody say
Kind
that.
of.
Okay.
You're close. It's not J.J. Abrams, it's Ryan Johnson.
Oh.
Who is doing the Knives Out movies these days.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because there's two different philosophies going on here.
Okay.
Which is something that is not in Regarding Henry.
Okay.
J.J. Abrams is all about the mystery box. This is something that he's talked about a lot. He has a
Yeah.
whole TED talk where he does this whole thing where he breaks down this like philosophy on writing.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. Don't listen to that TED talk. It's not going to make a solid story.
Okay.
Because basically, and this is the problem with The Force Awakens in a lot of ways, is that it sets up everything. And it's just like, we'll get to it.
Oh.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Which would be fine. Like, I think of like a similar trilogy would be like the Dark Knight, where it's like Batman Begins. It's obviously going to be setting up a lot of what's going to be coming.
Right.
And there is that one creative voice, Christopher Nolan being in charge for those three movies. Like, it makes sense for him to be setting up stuff that he's going to be getting to later and later. It doesn't make sense for J.J. Abrams to build this mystery box and then say, I trust that the next guy is going to do exactly what I set up for.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Johnson's whole thing, if you've seen any of his movies, it's like all about subverting expectations. That was a thing that was like going around at that time, was that
Okay.
this movie subverts expectations.
So J.J. Abrams wrote the first one.
He did not. Lawrence Kasdan did.
So what is where is J.J. Abrams?
J.J. Abrams directed The Force
Directed the
Awakens,
first one.
and I think was kind of
Okay.
like creative lead.
Okay.
They basically just hired Lawrence Kasdan out of whatever dungeon that he was kind of chilling in, because he doesn't leave his house very much.
Oh my gosh. You're brutal.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing. Roger Waters is also someone who lives in a dungeon because he doesn't leave his house.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not a
Okay.
bad thing. I also live in a dungeon,
Yeah.
so
I mean, okay.
it's fine.
That's fine.
But they just kind of like dug him out and was like, hey, can you write a Star Wars movie? You did that before and people liked the one that you wrote. And he's just like, whatever, I'm just going to do A New Hope again.
Oh. Okay.
And then, so like, J.J. Abrams was like setting up all this stuff. Ryan
see.
Johnson comes in with a
And just,
sledgehammer
like-
and slams it all down. And then J.J. Abrams has to pick up the pieces.
Oh.
And now he wrote The Rise of Skywalker, the last one.
Okay.
And it's really, really bad.
Oh no.
It is. It is like fighting tooth and nail with Rogue One with being the worst Star Wars movie, in my opinion.
Wow.
Which means that, yes, I
That's
do
true.
think that Attack of the Clones is better than
Oh.
Rise of Skywalker and Rogue One.
Oh my gosh. The dialogue has to be better. Even if you're just looking at dialogue, it's got to be better. No?
Not in Rise of Skywalker.
Wow.
Maybe in Rogue One.
Okay.
Tony Gilroy is a talented man. But no, Rise of Skywalker, it is the worst, like bottom of the barrel.
Wow.
I can't believe how bad that movie is.
Okay.
And all of it is in the script.
Well, and I will never watch it then, I guess. It sounds like I'm not missing anything.
You're not missing anything, but it is kind of interesting to watch how a giant mega corporation can drop the bag that hard. It's almost a study in that.
Okay.
Where it was kind of interesting at the time, and I swear we'll get back to regarding Henry.
Maybe this is going to be a 2.5-hour podcast.
Maybe. But at the time, this was like such an interesting case study because you had one studio doing two giant like projects, and Marvel and Star Wars. And Marvel at that time was like absolutely killing it.
Yeah, this is
and
peak Marvel, yeah.
And I'm not a Marvel fanboy. I haven't seen the Thunderbolts. I might go see the Fantastic Four because they look cute and they're wearing sweaters. And I like that.
Okay.
I think I'm just like done with Marvel. But
Yeah.
I'm like, if they do something different, I'm there. But like at that point, like they had completely like, and they perfectly wrapped up the like that whole saga with Endgame. I don't love that movie, but it is like a perfect kind of
Ending.
cap. And like it's really satisfying to see all of these like threads and all these characters have their arcs resolved at the end. And so then it's just like, and then Star Wars just like can't figure it out. They're like handing it off to different people. Kathleen Kennedy is like wishy-washy either way on like her politics are like weird. She like says one thing and is like actively doing the other, where she's like, we need to get more women in Star Wars. I swear one day we're gonna get a Star Wars movie that's directed by a woman. It hasn't happened yet. Where it was J.J. Abrams, white guy.
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson, white guy.
Right.
Rogue One was the tank guy. He made a tank movie.
Oh,
Not Gareth Evans, I think.
you're way out of my area of expertise. We start getting it's fine. We start getting into science fiction and action movies.
Well-
I just don't have a.
I haven't seen the tank movie.
Okay.
But yeah, Gareth Evans, white guy.
Yeah.
Ron Howard, white guy.
I love Ron Howard.
That movie's not very good either.
I've heard that.
But-
that makes me sad because I really do like him. I think he's a good storyteller. I think he just dropped the ball on that guy.
I don't know if it's entirely his fault. But because we'll get back to regarding Henry. I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent right now. But that movie was originally attached with Phil Lord and Christopher Miller set to direct. Those are the guys that did 21 Jump Street, Lego Movie, the Spider-Verse movies.
Oh, those are good.
Like really, really talented comedy directors and writers. And so like that is like perfect for Han Solo. And then Disney said, no, you can't do that. You're trying to make it a real movie. We need it to be a product. You guys are fired.
Oh.
And then Ron Howard came in and they scrapped 90% of the movie. And then Ron Howard was basically just a director for hire.
Oh.
The moral of the story is that Ron Howard is a white guy and not a woman.
No. Yeah.
And then when the Rise of Skywalker was originally, again, they can't figure anything out. It was originally supposed to go to Colin Trevorrow, who does the Jurassic World movies, who's a white guy. They fired him because Jurassic World, the second one, was really bad. And they're like, no, we can't trust Star Wars. The name has like too much value. People associate Star Wars movies with being good, which is wrong at this point.
Not at this point, for sure.
So they're like, that's it. We need to bring in someone else. We need to bring in another white guy. Get J.J. Abrams back. And it's like, she was talking from The Force Awakens all the way up till now saying we need more women in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do we? Like at this point.
Didn't Bryce Dallas Howard do a bunch of Mandalorian episodes?
Now she is.
Okay.
Yeah. now that Star Wars has been relegated to TV,
Right.
which is less important,
Of course.
now women are allowed in.
Yeah.
Not when it was important.
Yeah, like
and
blockbuster.
Yeah, when they were actually making movies,
Yeah.
they were exclusively giving them to white guys. And now that they're like just doing TV shows, it's like, oh, okay, now women can do it. And like, to me, I'm like, you are a woman in power. She is
Yeah.
the chairperson of Lucasfilm.
Yeah. If ever there was someone who could make that call, it is you, my friend.
Yes.
You put your hand down and you bring up that next generation. That's what you do.
Yeah, stop hiring old white guys to
Yeah.
direct Star Wars movies. It's just super disappointing, especially
Yeah.
because she's a really, really good producer.
Oh.
Like, she produced like all of Spielberg's movies in the like 80s and 90s, even into the 2000s. Like, worked with him on like Indiana Jones, and like I know she produced like his Tintin movie. And it's just like, she has crazy talent, and every time I see like produced by Kathleen Kennedy, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this is going to be really good, because she is someone that can really get pieces together, and like can really get like everything done, and like get really great locations and everything. Like, she's really talented as a producer. She is not a great studio head. And she actively just doesn't practice what she preaches. And I'm like, that's messed up.
That is.
Like,
That's a
come
bummer.
on, get women in here. If like that's going to be your thing. And I'm not like, there needs to be like, there's a quota, we need women. But I'm just like, if you're like, if that's what you're saying is the most important thing.
Right. Then make
stick
it the
to
most
it.
important thing. Yeah. Right. There are women out there directing that are very capable that could do a great Star Wars movie.
Even Bryce Dallas Howard.
I'm thinking like Greta Gerwig could do a great Star Wars.
I would love that.
I think she would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Star Wars, think Spaceballs, but not as slapsticky. I could see her doing something like that, taking it and turning it a bit on its side. Not totally upside down,
Yeah.
but just a little wink to the whole thing.
I don't think they'd be down for that. They
No, they
fired Phil Lord and Christopher Miller because that
Yeah.
was exclusively what they were doing.
I feel like she would be good at it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they could
definitely.
get a sense of humor over what they do. But, I mean, it's not funny when you're losing millions of dollars on a film either. So, like, for them, of course, it's the bottom line. And
Yeah.
what's going to make money? So,
Yeah.
anyway, well, that was fun.
That was fun.
I'm going to talk about one of the scenes in the movie and regarding Henry
Oh.
that I really liked. And you're going to look up the name of that movie with.
Oh, I already did.
Oh, what was it?
It's called Paddleton.
Oh, does it have to do with a boat? Maybe I thought it had to do with a boat because of the word paddle.
No, they appear to be playing tennis.
Oh, okay, well.
The synopsis is: an unlikely friendship between two misfit neighbors becomes an unexpectedly emotional journey when the younger man is diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh, boy.
It's on Netflix,
Oh,
which means I can't watch it because I got kicked off.
you did. I'm very sad about that.
Me too.
Okay.
What was the scene?
2 scenes.
Okay.
One scene is the scene where his daughter is going off to school and he
Yes.
tells her the story that after 2 days it was fine and he was friends with everyone and they laughed about how they had been so afraid to go. And then you find out he lied about that. But it was just a very sweet, I really liked that moment. I
Yeah.
thought that was very, very sweet moment.
Well, and that's like real parenting stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes you
Yeah.
have to lie to your kids in order to make them feel better, or like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That's where toxic positivity comes in handy.
I guess so. I guess so.
So that was one. The second one was that scene with Bradley in the kitchen, where he was talking about, if I hadn't had bad knees, I wouldn't be here. That's a perfect example of hard things. We
Yes.
talk a lot about hard things. You know, why do things have to be hard? Not only is it character building, but sometimes hard things take your life and it turns it and sends you on a completely different trajectory. And that was the case here. And the idea then that he was like, you're walking because my knees hurt. Like, you are the man you are today. And truly is the man he is that at that time because of what Bradley was able to do for him.
Yeah.
And had Bradley not been there, yes, there might have been another physical therapist, but it wouldn't have been him. And maybe they wouldn't have the same kind of connection. And, like I just liked the way that was explained through that story. Because sometimes I feel like you can say all those words and you can explain it in an abstract way. But it was so simple and it was so concise that, I don't know, it's just one of the best ways I've ever heard adversity, the benefits of overcoming adversity and the role that adversity can play in your life for the good. I really, really loved that scene. I loved that conversation.
I would agree. I think it's the best scene in the movie.
I agree.
And I think that scene is made all the more powerful because we've seen what the other therapists were like. They weren't very effective.
No.
I'll just say that.
No.
Because, like, we get the scene where, like, this other, like, therapist is, like, trying to get him to talk. And she's just like, bawl. I know you can say it. Come on. Just do it already.
I used a low voice. She didn't like that.
Oh, she does not like that. But she's just basically just berating him, just being like, talk to me. Come on, I know you can talk to me. Do it. Do it. I'm right here. Kill me now.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the way they shot it, it was like zooming in on her face. You could see I'm annoyed with her. Like the camera angle that Mike Nichols used on that. It was very obvious what he was going for.
Yes.
Like, this is annoying. Oh, look, there's the puppy. There she is. Does she need to go out?
I hope not. We are recording. Come on, we just talked about Star Wars for 30 minutes. Let me finish this part.
I don't want her to have an accident.
Oh, she's okay. She just wants to sit with me.
Okay, if you're sure.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but like him like saying that like, him like Henry being able to walk is because that he like got those busted knees is true. Like unequivocally, and we know that.
Yeah.
This isn't like a speculation where it's like, oh well, maybe.
Right.
Maybe it would work eventually, but it's like no, it just straight up wasn't effective.
Right.
She should have poisoned his eggs.
Yes. Well, his non-traditional approach really, you can see that it was him. It was the person of him. And it was uniquely the way he functions in the world and the relationships he builds with his patients. Like, I love he's pushing Harrison Ford down the street or down the hallway. And he's like, that's so-and-so. He's from Kentucky. Like, he knows things about people. He knows things about everybody. And that just shows that that connection is not unique to Harrison Ford. That connection is everyone. And when you have someone like that, like, that can build like connection with people, it's just so very important. This is so funny.
I know. She's derailing everything.
Are you sure she doesn't need to go? I'm so nervous.
We'll be back after a brief intermission.
We'll be back.
Meanwhile, while the dog was being taken out...
No way. No way. Is this for real? No freaking way. Oh, you're not going to believe this.
All right. Crisis averted. Dog went outside and we're back.
Sorry, this is the chair. To get comfy again, you guys.
Okay, so we were talking about the Great Bradley scene.
Yes.
And how effective it is.
Yep.
I don't know if I had any more to say about that.
I don't either. I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, really good.
Like, I kind of want to take a little clip of that and just, next time I have something hard, Bradley, tell me about how this really hard thing made your life better and made other people's lives better because you went through something hard. Something that felt devastating at the time that ended up being a good thing in the long run. Like, I just needed a little pep talk like that. It was very nice to...
Yeah.
I just really liked that. Way to go, JJ.
Yeah.
So you can give JJ credit for that. Way to go, JJ. You wrote
really
a good
good
scene. Okay, can I give you trivia? Because I am dying. And why? Because while they were outside I was like, oh, I'm just going to look into a couple little things here. And I found the coolest stuff.
All right.
I found the coolest stuff. All right, I'm going to put my glasses on, and I'm going to look absolutely insane because we have this giant ring light in front of us, and so it's going to be very reflecty. But it's fine. It's all fine. Oh, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Okay, here we go. Get ready for the fun.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to start with the things I already knew. We've talked about the fact that this was directed by Mike Nichols.
Yes.
Written by J.J. Abrams. Music by Hans Zimmer.
Ah,
I have to
something we
say, I
didn't talk
did
about.
not really notice the music in this one.
I did not either.
So that's interesting.
Hans Zimmer, known for big, bombastic orchestral scores.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing really here.
no, that was interesting to me. Okay, so let's see here. Let me see here. We're going to go behind the scenes only. That's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Jessica, the woman that plays Jessica. Don't cheat. You can't look at my notes. Okay, the woman that plays Jessica. I was like, I know her. She's she was his administrative assistant.
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, I know her. Well, she was in The Graduate with Mike Nichols, which I have not seen.
I have not
But
either.
she was in that movie with Mike Nichols. She was in The Birds
Okay.
with Alfred Hitchcock. But what I remember her from was 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton and Dabney Coleman. And she was the nemesis. She was like, there were all of these women who were in the secretarial pool, and Dabney Coleman was the evil boss. And this lady was the butt kisser to Dabney Coleman. And so she was mean to the other women, and because she loved Dabney Coleman, and so she was just nasty. And that was her.
Oh.
And that is what I knew her from. I did a little bit about Annette Bening.
Okay.
She has been nominated for 5 Oscars over the course of her career. The first one in 1991 for supporting actress in the movie Grifters, which I've never really heard of before. But the rest of these I have. In 2000, she was nominated for... the rest of these are Best Actress.
Okay.
Maybe not the last one. American Beauty in 2000, being Julia. The Kids Are All Right. And then the last one was Naiad last year.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if she was nominated for... I thought it was Best Actress, but it's possible that one is also supporting. I can't remember. Jodie Foster won.
Yes.
So I'm guessing, right?
I think so.
I mean,
don't
I could
know.
be thinking of Golden Globes too, but I know Jodie Foster won some big award for Naiad last year. I think it might be the Oscar. Anyway, so she's a very accomplished actress.
Yeah.
Obviously has had a very long and great career. J.J. Abrams, or Jeffrey Jacob, I believe is his middle name, Abrams. I just had it. I was like, oh, I should write that down, and I didn't.
it
I
was
think it's
weird.
Jeffrey Jacob or something like that.
Yeah, they credited him as just Jeffrey Abrams.
Yes. So this is his first movie that is out in IMDb. So
Okay.
first credited film. And 7 years after writing this movie, he had his first child named Henry.
Oh.
Aw.
Is that, like, intentional?
I don't know, but how sweet is that? Aw. Okay, here's something that John Leguizamo wrote in his biography that I thought was interesting.
About his very expansive role in
His
this
very
movie.
expansive role in this film. It was his autobiography. He said that the crew urinated in Mike Nichols' cappuccino machine. What?
Oh. Why?
I don't know.
They just...
I don't know if
Okay.
they didn't like him, but I was like, well, that is an interesting little fact, and it came directly from his mouth, so I felt comfortable in sharing that in
Yeah.
his autobiography he said that.
That is wild.
I know. So, Mel Gibson originally wanted the role of Harrison Ford, the one that Harrison Ford has, the Henry role. Mel Gibson, young Mel Gibson, who is extremely handsome.
Yes.
Kind of gone sideways since then, but like...
Sure. That's
But,
putting it lightly.
Yeah, I know. But he was very handsome and charming. He has kind of a similar sensibility to him. Like in his young days, I think of like Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson.
yeah.
Great sense of humor. You could tell he was like a troublemaker. He's cute. Back in the day. Again, clarifying, back in the day.
Yeah, he is a troublemaker.
Yeah, he is now. Anyway, he originally wanted the lead role, but it went to Harrison Ford. So he went to J.J. Abrams and said, I want to see the script for your next movie, whatever you're writing next.
Yeah.
And that was Forever Young, which he ended up starring in, with a cute little baby Elijah Wood and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh.
Yeah, I loved that movie when I was younger. I loved that movie. That was 1992. So this was 91. So anyway, immediately following.
All right.
But man, that Elijah Wood, he was so cute. And basically the story is, I think it was something like Mel Gibson was a World War II pilot and he got frozen. They froze him or something.
Oh.
And he unfreezes in the current time. Elijah Wood finds him somewhere.
Oh.
It's very weird. I don't know, but it was
He's
good.
Captain America?
Am I thinking of something else? I don't think it's Captain America. Now I'm thinking it might be a movie that had Holly Hunter and John Goodman in it. I might be messing this up.
I have no
Ignore
idea.
my description of that movie. I'm not 100% confident at this point of what maybe I'm combining two. I'm combining the movie Always
Okay.
with Richard Dreyfuss, Holly Hunter, and John Goodman.
Okay.
Those three were in a movie together, I believe, called Always. But I do remember really liking this movie, but now I don't remember for sure that that's what it's about. Next time, I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, get it ready for recollection correction.
Get ready. Okay, this is the thing that I found that was so thrilling.
I'm so excited.
So you had said the whole thing with the girl, that he had had the affair with the girl.
Yes.
And I was reading through trivia, and it had said that that part was only added like 2 days before wrapping. The role of Linda, which was the girl that he had the affair with, was added to the script 2 days before wrapping shooting. So it was a late addition.
Oh, that they were sleeping together?
Yeah, and even just the character. So I don't know if they shot all those office things at the very end. All of the work scenes were at the end of the movie, or like in the shoot schedule.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those would all have to come last. Unless, well, there were some, like the scene where like he's first back, and there's like that, just like there's a round table of all the lawyers that are there,
Yes.
and they're basically just like placating him to be like, whatever.
Yes.
He's just here now. And she's there, and there's like no tension, or like in the courtroom before in the intro, there's really not any sort of sexual tension, or when they go get lunch with Bruce,
With the group, right?
there's nothing there.
No.
So yeah, I bet
It
that's crazy. That's a huge arc.
It is. It says here the role of Linda was a last minute addition added 2 days before wrapping.
That's crazy.
I know. Interesting. So then I was like, well, that's interesting. And so then I went back to look at the cast again, and the name of the woman that plays Linda, I'm like, well, like, was Linda just hanging around? What's the story?
Yeah.
I mean, she obviously was in throughout the movie. Her name is Rebecca Miller. Well, I don't know anything about Rebecca Miller, but I'm going to check her out. So I flip over to her page. She has been married to Daniel Day-Lewis since 1996. They have 2 children together.
What?
Right? Okay, that's the first one. I was like, wow. And they're still together. And wow, Daniel Day-Lewis, like,
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that is so fascinating. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look and see what she's been in. But what then I come across is, let me find it. Her dad is Arthur Miller. Do you know who Arthur Miller is?
Probably.
Death of a Salesman.
Okay.
He wrote it. He wrote Death of a Salesman. He's a playwright.
So what you're telling me is that she's a Nepo baby?
I'm telling you, she is a Nepo baby of the first order. Arthur Miller. Now, wait a minute. Was Arthur Miller married to Marilyn Monroe?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. You talk for a second. I think she was. Arthur Miller and Marilyn.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that they were married.
Well, she's not Marilyn Monroe's daughter.
They were. Arthur Miller is a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright, and Marilyn Monroe, they were married from 1956 to 1961. Her stepmom would have been Marilyn Monroe. How cool is that? They met in the early 50s, and they had an affair.
Oh. You're exciting
Well,
the dog.
hi, baby. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. You closed my window, you little turkey.
You got her all excited.
And you can hear her. Yeah, you can fully hear her now, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what kind of craziness is that? Daniel Day-Lewis,
Arthur Miller,
Death of a Salesman, Pulitzer Prize winner. I think, didn't he also write The Crucible, maybe? I think.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wrote The Crucible, wrote Death of a Salesman. I think he was involved in the film production of Death of a Salesman. So, like, he is also in the film industry in some way.
Oh, I got another connection for you.
You do? And then Marilyn Monroe would have been her stepmother. Okay, go ahead.
Arthur Miller, if you said he wrote The Crucible.
Yes.
The Crucible, do you know who stars in The Crucible, the movie?
Demi Moore.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Who
no,
plays
that's
John
the
Proctor?
Scarlet Letter. Daniel Day-Lewis? No.
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay, here's another one. I don't know this. I am guessing. I'm just guessing. I'm wondering if her sister is Penelope Ann Miller. Let me look and see, because it says she has a half-sister.
Oh.
One moment, please.
We are uncovering the deepest,
I'm sorry.
darkest secrets
We're
of
doing it right
Hollywood.
now. Okay,
We're
no.
doing it live.
No, Jane Miller. I was hoping it was Penelope Ann Miller, because Penelope Ann Miller was in Kindergarten Cop
Oh.
with Arnold
Arnold.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Okay, but no,
Oh.
that's a bummer.
Well, the thread is dead.
Oh, wait, hold on. She met her future husband, Daniel Day-Lewis, at her father's house when the two men were preparing the film version of The Crucible. Okay,
there
that's
it
how
is.
they met.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a tangled web we weave. This is
Yeah.
fun.
That almost makes me want to pick a Daniel Day-Lewis movie for
I
our next
mean,
film.
there are so many you could choose from.
So
think-
many of them are violent.
I think the only one of his that I have seen is My Left Foot. Oh, I guess I did see Lincoln too, which are probably his two movies that aren't violent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's Phantom Thread.
Was he in Last of the Mohicans? Was that him?
I think so. I haven't seen that one.
I saw that when I was younger, and I loved that movie. I don't know how it's held up.
I don't know either.
That's based on a novel, but I can't remember who even wrote the novel. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you have so many choices. We have talked about so many people today.
I know.
So, and you don't have to stay with the chain if you don't want to, but it's kind of funny to me that we've been able to keep it going. I mean, obviously, there's always someone in a movie that's in another movie. You know what I mean?
If I pick a Daniel Day-Lewis movie that is so tangentially related to this movie, it's almost like, is that even part of the chain?
That's true. Yeah, you would have to do, yeah. But it is interesting, isn't it, though?
It is interesting, yeah.
And like the fact that you're like, oh, something about Linda. And then I go out and look at Linda. And then I was like, who is Linda? And then I go out and I'm like, oh my gosh, Daniel Day-Lewis, Arthur Miller,
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, so many ties together. How fun is that? That's
is
why I
fun.
like to know that information, just because I find it so interesting. Hollywood is small.
Oh, yeah.
And so like when you hear the ways that different people are connected with each other, I just find that so fun. It makes me all tingly.
It is fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
But that one but that's the other part, is that what a random group of people. This isn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
like, a bunch of current day celebrities. You've got Pulitzer Prize winner playwright, and you've got an Oscar, 3-time Oscar winner maybe.
The best actor of all time.
I think he's won at least 3. And then you have just this tiniest of roles that has maybe 5 lines in it.
Yeah.
And I happened to open it up. And then you've got Marilyn Monroe, like box office bombshell icon. Such a weird group of people to all have those sorts of close connections with one another. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
And there's
So
even one
interesting.
more connection that you may have not have even realized.
Oh, please. Joe DiMaggio?
Close.
Okay.
It's actually an Easter egg found in this very video.
Oh, okay. What was it?
It has to do with that record right there. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Oh, Elton John. Okay.
Candle in the Wind is on that album. And that
Yes.
is the tribute song for Marilyn Monroe.
That's right. It is.
Isn't that nice?
Look at that. And Princess Diana.
Yeah, he eventually twisted it.
He
Yeah.
did. But it was originally Marilyn Monroe.
It was.
And Marilyn Monroe was also married to Joe DiMaggio. And do you know
Yes.
who sang about Joe DiMaggio?
Simon and Garfunkel. Unfortunately,
In what
they're not up here.
movie?
The Graduate.
Oh! Look at us.
We're going off right now.
We are so good. Oh, gosh, dang, that was good.
This is like
I didn't even plan that. Look at us.
no. This is like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
No, this might be my favorite podcast moment ever. Look at us go. I'm so impressed with us.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff here.
That was really good. I know you're impressed.
I am.
Yeah, this kind of stuff makes your dad crazy.
Yeah.
I said to him, do you listen to the podcast? He's like, no, I don't listen to the podcast. I'm like, but you listen to the other podcast with Jerry. Why don't you listen to ours? Well, because yours just sounds like every family gathering I ever have to go to.
Yeah, that's true.
He hates, like, he is not a big movie guy, likes
No.
TV more, and likes
old
to
TV.
rewatch. Yeah, he rewatches a lot. That or romantic comedies are kind of his jam. But there's not a lot to discuss on romantic comedies very often.
No.
You know, they're kind of formulaic. But so he doesn't know anything about celebrities. He doesn't know anything about anybody famous. So for him, he's probably like, that is too much for me. I can't.
Yeah.
But it does hurt my feelings a little bit. That the person that's supposed to love me so much can't even listen to my podcast with the other person that he loves so much.
Yeah, you'd think, right?
I know. What are we willing to sacrifice? Truly. I wouldn't listen to him talk about baseball, so I think that's only fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought it was funny because he watched this movie with us.
He did.
And the only thing he said is, I don't remember that movie. As in, you had told him that you saw it together back when it came out, and he's like, I don't know what
I
you're
don't
talking
remember
about.
it. Yeah.
And that was the only thing he said.
Well, and that's all you would get from him. He hates talking about movies. Like, it's not even like he doesn't have anything to say. He actively hates talking about movies after you see them.
Yeah.
Hates it. And I'm like, I don't feel like I've watched a movie unless I've talked about it. And that was how I grew up. That's how our family functioned. We'd go to the
Yeah.
movie theater, we'd see a movie, we'd talk about it the whole way home. And so then when I started dating him and we'd see a movie and then there was no conversation, I'm like, what is this? I don't even know what to do with this, you
Yeah.
know? It's not the way his family did it. And so for him, it's like torture to
Yeah.
listen to this stuff. And coming from a family where everyone is big movie watchers, except for him and Jenna.
My sister.
Yeah, Jenna, my daughter, those two. They just hate it. They really, really hate it. So it's good that you like movies because
Yeah.
otherwise I'd have to call Aunt Kara every time I watch a movie, which is also fine. I enjoy her, but it is nice to have somebody in the house
You're right.
at the time,
Right.
in the house who could talk about movies with me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like that's so like foundational to like even me doing the other podcast where it's like I used to just be like them. Like I didn't talk about movies like I mean I talked to you
Sure.
a little bit, but like other than that, like our friend group didn't really do that.
Yeah.
But like it's like really helped me like really form ideas about movies after I see them is like now I'm getting to talk about them.
Right.
Like recently, which I guess it won't be recently when this episode comes out, but like recently I talked about the hit family film, Cannibal Holocaust,
Oh, jeez.
which is the worst movie ever made.
Oh, wait. Have I heard this?
I don't know.
I mean, I heard you talk about one that was really, really bad, and so much so that I fast forwarded.
I mean, it would probably be that one.
Okay.
Cannibal Holocaust is the worst movie ever, and if you like it, you're a bad person.
I mean, you said it was really disgusting. Like, you had mentioned something, whatever movie it was you were talking about. You were like, it is so gross. And you had just I'm like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then I started, I'm like, no, I don't think I want this in my head. So I just fast forwarded until you were done with that movie and we moved on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I think that. Yeah, no, that episode like just came out like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
As of us recording this.
Yeah, I listened to it.
Okay. Yeah, that is easily like the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I think there's nothing positive about it. The fact that it exists in this world is a crime.
Jeez.
Everything about it is bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't add anything. I think the only reason it's still in the like conversation is because of like the aftermath of like this is something I didn't even bring up on the podcast, and I like can't believe I forgot to bring this up. But the director of that movie was arrested. He's an Italian guy. Was arrested by the Italian government because they thought that he actually murdered people on set, and he had to
Whoa.
like basically prove that everything was fake. Because another big part of that was that like he made all the actors sign NDAs and made them like not appear in public
Oh,
because they all die in the movie.
I see.
So it was like this whole thing where he was like trying to create this buzz where it's like, is this real? And the Italian government didn't really take too fondly to that.
No, I would say.
And so they arrested him, and he had to go to court and prove that all these people were still alive and that all of the special effects were fake.
Wow.
There's that, and the fact that it is like one of the first found footage horror movies.
You did say something about the fact that there would be no Blair Witch Project probably
Yes.
without this.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think there's any other redeeming qualities. And the reaction to it, like the whole court thing, isn't even like a positive thing. It's just
Right,
kind of an
yeah.
interesting thing that happened.
Sure.
But yeah, like when I wrote a long review of that on Letterboxd, but then like when I sat down and recorded that podcast episode and like really vented, I'm like, okay, like I completely solidified my idea of that movie being so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that having that avenue is really helpful.
Yeah.
So like that's why I like this podcast so much. It's fun.
It is fun. I enjoy doing it. I mean, I realize we kind of go.
We did talk about
we
Star
get
Wars.
off topic sometimes,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think if you're a person that likes movies,
Yeah.
it's not even necessarily that people who are listening or watching have even seen the movie we're talking about.
That's true.
And I think too, listening to other podcasts, because both you and I are active podcast listeners, and we both listen to pop culture or film podcasts. And so after a lot of time, like I have podcasts I listen to that talk about specific movies, and I haven't seen the movie, but I still listen because I like their conversation. I find them entertaining. And they bring up things that even if I haven't seen the movie, like, oh, I know who that person is, or whatever. Yeah, I like movies so much. It's so nice to have somebody to talk to about it. And also, I also like that it's taking me, much like a book club does, like takes you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like I obviously have specific types of movies that I like. I love things that are super relational, and I like things that are happy, and I like, things that make me feel warm and fuzzy. And sometimes the movies you pick are not that. And so it is like, it pushes me into directions that I think it's just good to, it pushes me, but not too far.
Yeah.
As far as like what I can what my brain can handle,
Sure.
and what my eyes and ears can handle. But I just think it's good. I think it's good because sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. I find that all the time.
Yeah.
I'll read something in book club. I'm like, I do not like science fiction, and then I read a science fiction book that's amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, well maybe I do.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I do, and I do. So anyway, I feel the same way about this. Like the alternating choosing helps. Like just broadens for both of us.
Yeah.
And especially because we're from two different generations, it kind of spans a little bit
Yeah.
of time, which is fun.
I think it's fun too.
Me too.
That's why our show is so great.
It is. And it means that I get to spend time with this guy every 2 weeks, which is also really fun. It's nice to have something on the schedule to be like, I know I'm going to see him then. You're always good about calling, and I do appreciate that. But it is nice to know, like, in 2 weeks, I'll be spending at least an hour seeing his face and chatting it up. It's nice.
Talking about a hit film
That's right.
that we
Sometimes.
both love. Oh, I call everything a hit film. I don't know when that became like
Your
a
thing?
part. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like
do
the
say
hit
that.
film blank.
I forgot. You do say that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know why I do.
Oh, I like it.
The hit film Cannibal Holocaust. I think I even said that
Oh,
in that
no.
episode.
Oh, no.
Which I mean, in a way, it's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, it's notorious, apparently.
It's infamous. Yeah.
Infamous. Yeah, that's a good word.
But speaking of infamous
Yeah.
movies,
What are you thinking?
I don't know if I'm going to keep the chain going because I can't think of any movies that you would like starring Daniel Day-Lewis.
What about Annette Bening or anybody from the movie Today? I mean, I don't know what else Bill Nunn has even been in.
We could watch Spider-Man. Do you want to watch Spider-Man?
Spider-Man? We can watch
No.
Spider-Man.
No.
I mean, I can watch it.
No, we don't need to watch Spider-Man.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You pick what you want. You don't have to keep the chain going.
I don't want to watch Spider-Man. I hate that film.
You do?
No.
Oh.
I have it over there.
Oh. I like Spider-Man. I
do
like
too.
Spider-Man more than I like Batman. Batman's
That's
too
fair.
dark for me.
Yeah.
I don't really care for that.
I could see that.
Especially like the one, well, yeah, I don't like Jack Nicholson. That gave me the creeps about him for the rest of my life.
The Joker.
That smile.
Yeah.
I cannot. And man, we watched it so many times. So many times. My brother really liked it.
Yeah, it's
we
a
watched
big movie.
it a lot. And then when the Penguin,
Oh, Danny DeVito.
and he's got that black.
Yeah, he's got like the black gums and he's like eating raw fish.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
I
like
couldn't
Tim
with that.
Burton
Couldn't
grossness.
with that.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, I just don't think I'm a Batman person. That's kind of where I decided that was the end of that.
Yeah, I think that's a good
But
call.
Spider-Man, I like. Spider-Man is not as dark. And I'm going to be interested to know if we're going to be able to hear her snorting.
Oh, we
have to be
definitely
able
are.
to.
Definitely.
So what sounds like a ventilator in the background is actually the dog.
Yeah, this is what it sounds like when she's resting. So keep that in mind.
No, she is noisy.
Usually it isn't that bad. Like I'm usually able to record, but she's just excited because there's another person.
That's
in the
it. Like
place.
having extra people in here has been made her especially noisy.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking? Because here's the thing. We could always start a new chain.
That's true. And the one that I was kind of thinking of is ripe for that.
Okay.
I was gonna do the Big Lebowski. Go back to the Coen brothers. Have some fun.
I have not ever seen it,
Okay.
and I am interested. That is one that one and Raising Arizona were both
Okay.
movies that I was like, I feel like I see this often enough. I really need to see it.
Yeah, I was thinking specifically, well, because the chain stuff.
Yeah.
You got Jeff Bridges.
Yep.
John Goodman. Steve Buscemi. John Turturro. From Do the Right Thing. There's the chain.
There's the chain.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Kept with it. All right.
Okay, I forgot that he's in it. He has a, well, it's not really a minor role. I mean, he's a supporting character, but it's a famous scene. That he's in.
Okay. So if you pick that, can I go super campy with the next one?
I don't care.
Because there's a John Goodman movie. There's two
I'm
that I'm
sure.
thinking of off the top of my head that could be really fun. They are not going to be masterpieces,
That's fine.
but they're fun. Okay.
I'm down for
I'll
that.
decide what one I want to do.
I'm glad I completely blanked that John.
That is
Turturro
amazing.
in
Good
it.
job. We are on fire today.
That doesn't have to do with this movie, but it's with the last one.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So-
within the chain.
It's in the chain.
I should really make a note of the chain. I have that handy little spreadsheet that I'm keeping, and I could do like something off to the side to say like this is how we went down this line. What
Yeah.
did this start with?
This started with Grumpy Old Men.
And we actually did Grumpy Old Men because what was the one we did before? We were talking about Walter Matthau.
Oh no, I watched King Creole and he was in that.
Okay.
And I think the whole reason, I don't know why you picked Grumpy Old Men, but like,
Because of Walter Matthau, because we talked
Because-
about Walter Matthau.
oh, so that probably was. It was just because
But
I
it wasn't
watched-
because he was in a movie. It was because we had talked about him,
Yeah.
something that he had been in. I think that's where it started because we were talking about him and I was talking about how much I love him and his little jolly face. And then I was like, oh, Grumpy Old Men. We should
Yeah.
watch that. Okay.
This is we could call it the 7 Degrees Marathon.
Okay.
And that references the famous 7 Degrees of Kevin
Bacon, yeah. But
And
how
that-
long does it go? Does that mean 7 movies?
Yeah. I mean, what are we on? Grumpy Old Men, Do the Right Thing, this, Big Lebowski.
4.
4. So we got 7.
And I've got a John Goodman in the
Okay.
wings. So
We'll
that's
have to
5.
get creative. Depending on what John Goodman.
That might
movie
make
you
a
pick.
difference on what movie I pick.
Oh, if we have to keep the chain going,
Because one has a lot of famous people and one,
does not.
I'll have to look at the cast.
Okay.
But the one I know does. The other one I'm not quite so sure about.
Okay.
So this will be fun.
This will be fun. I
Okay.
like that.
Me too.
Okay. This is our first marathon that we've done on this show.
It is, and it was
kind of
unintentional.
yeah. But here we go. We got the parameters here.
Yeah.
That's what we got. We're going to do this for 7 movies.
Okay.
I think that's good. It gives it like a definite end.
Yeah. And then we can start fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's like no pressure to keep it going after that.
I mean, it would not be a problem.
No, it wouldn't be a problem. But like if we're gonna keep like restricting our movies based on the cast, like that can get tricky.
You'd have to start like picking some real wild things in order to get a specific person you were interested in. And we would have
That's
to
true.
coordinate between
Yeah.
the two of us. It wouldn't be spontaneous.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, no, I think this is good. I think 7 is a good number, and then we can start fresh again.
Yeah.
So that means you are 4,
I'm 4.
I'm 5, you're 6, I'm 7.
You get the last one.
I get to pick the last one. That's exciting.
right.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, that's fun.
Okay.
So next time, Big Lebowski,
Yes, I'm excited.
the Coen Brothers classic.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I know it's Jeff Bridges' most recognized role.
Is it?
It's something that he said like multiple times
makes
that
sense.
it's something that like people still call him the dude.
Yeah.
And I think he said that like he likes that. He's like, if I'm remembered for being the dude, that's completely fine.
Yeah,
with
I
me."
feel like I've seen that too. He seems to embrace it.
Oh yeah, he just seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, all I know about it is that there's bowling.
There is bowling.
That is all I know.
There's plenty.
And I
of
know the
bowling.
cast, but I don't know
Yes.
anything about the plot, and I know that there's bowling.
Yeah, and there's even more people in the cast that I didn't even name.
I mean, they have a way of doing that.
Yeah,
It's pretty amazing. Is Frances McDormand in it?
I don't think so.
Okay,
That's like one of the rare ones that she's not in.
But man, they have a lot of star power in there.
And there's I can think of 2 more big stars.
Okay.
But I'm not going to spoil that. And
Well,
you should
now-
not look at the cast.
I won't look at the cast, but also then does that mean that maybe I'll pick a different person other than Mr. John Goodman? I do love John Goodman.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. The 2 people that I'm thinking of, I don't necessarily think that you would pick another one of their movies.
Okay. Okay.
But I think you will recognize them.
Okay.
So-
Oh no, I just thought of another one that would be really good.
For what? For this one?
No, for John. No.
Oh, for John Goodman.
Okay, wait.
Think about it.
You're doing okay. Oh no, it would be the one after John Goodman. No. Yeah, it would be the one after John Goodman. But I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. I know what one we're doing. I got it, and it's a good one.
All right. Well, we got.
Not good in the classic way, just like fun.
We'll make a note because we're gonna record in 2 weeks. so
Okay.
Don't forget.
I won't forget. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Okay. So yeah, next time, Big Lebowski. That's gonna be good. We're not gonna be in person. We'll be back
No.
to the normal format.
Yeah.
Dog won't be as snorty. Audio will be
Yeah.
better, I swear.
But I am hoping to come for a week at some point to crash at your house. Here's the thing, you guys. I love a pool, and there's a pool at Jerry's apartment, and I was looking out the window longingly, like, oh my gosh, there's no one at the pool. It turned out it's because it's green
Yeah,
right
that's-
now, and they're doing some repairs. But at some point, it won't be green.
Yeah,
And
pretty soon.
I'm like, I want to just crash for a week here and hang out at the pool for a week.
She didn't ask me.
I didn't.
I just want that to be made aware. I got home from work today and they were watching my dog,
Yeah.
and then I was told that
Yeah.
my mom was going to be crashing here for a week.
That is what I'm going to do because Dave gets to go to Alaska with his mom on this amazing trip, and he went to Miami not that long ago, and I haven't been on any trips. I'm going to Marshalltown, Iowa next weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thrilling. So that's like my big vacation for the summer. That and coming here to visit you. And
Right
so
now.
then I was like, oh, like I could take a week off. I have plenty of vacation time right now because I haven't been using it.
Yeah.
And I could just lay by your apartment pool for a week and read a bunch of books, and it would be my dream.
Why not?
Yeah, that's a lot of peopling for you. But they also have an apartment here that we can rent for super cheap that I could have for a period of time, which would also, then I could still use the pool. Mm-hmm. Okay. So maybe one more this summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now that you know my mother's vacation plan, now we can wrap up this episode.
Yes, we can.
I don't know if we really did a good job of talking about.
I don't know. I didn't think we did a bad job.
Okay. Well, I think I'm embarrassed that I talked about Star Wars for that long.
Don't be embarrassed. It's okay. Movie people, you know what? If they don't like it, they can fast forward. Maybe you could cut something into the beginning that says, hey, if you don't like Star Wars, I do go on a bit of a rant. You can fast forward through that part. It is this long. That's what you could do.
I don't even want to know how long it is.
Oh, that's not that long.
I'm so nervous.
It's,
It feels like it was 40 minutes.
I don't think it was that long. I don't know. But you could just be like, are you sensitive about Star Wars? If I disagree with your opinion, will it cause a problem?
I'm not worried about that.
If you don't want to listen to that long of Star Wars, here's where it is. Here's how long. Once you hear me say, then I will then go this far ahead, and then you're fine. Don't be embarrassed.
I'm not going to do that.
Because you know what? I go on tangents sometimes, too. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know.
And we're still talking about movies. It's not like it's, like, it's not like you're talking about soccer.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
It's still movie related. Maybe not this movie, but tangentially, it is related. It wasn't like a total left.
Well, yeah, because JJ wrote this. It's related. It's
JJ and Harrison is in Star Wars.
That's
so
true.
like it's related. So you're fine. Don't beat yourself up about
It's
that.
justified. It's justified.
It is justified, and it was interesting, and you had to explain it to me because I just didn't know all the things. I had little nuggets of things, but they weren't in the right order, and they weren't applied to the right things, and so you needed to clarify and educate me about Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be.
That's right. Yeah.
That's like when I told you about all the fashion from Break-In.
Well, that applied to
I
Break-In.
suppose.
Yeah, like whatever.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever.
Let's not metagame it right now. Right now, we're just chilling. This is the end of the episode.
This is the end of the episode. Are you waiting for me to say something?
No.
Oh.
Well, I guess I could plug.
Oh, yes, please do.
Okay. You're not going to get mad at me?
As long as you plug this one on the other one.
Okay.
Okay, go.
This is not the only show I do. We brought up the other show. Boy Time Podcast is the other podcast that I do. Mm-hmm. Kind of similar to this. Mm-hmm. I usually shoot for two movies a week. Didn't happen this last episode, which will be out by the time that this episode is out, but it's not out right now.
Okay. How many did you do?
Well, I didn't watch any.
Whoa.
And then...
That's unusual.
Yeah. Well,
Dog.
Snorty
dog.
dog got her tail caught in a door, and so I was...
Oh, yeah.
I was busy. And then
But she's okay. She had stitches, but she didn't break anything.
She did not break anything, and she constantly slaps her tail against everything, and it makes me so nervous every time she does it.
Yeah. She has a really long tail.
She does. Yeah. So I was just busy, and I didn't watch any movies, and I texted Babby, hey, maybe we should skip. And he said, I have a lot of music stuff to talk about, so it'll be cool if it's just a shorter podcast. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So then I was scrolling on Max. I'm like, I should watch something before. Mm-hmm. And I saw Final Destination. And I'm like, I guess I'll watch Final Destination. And it was pretty funny.
Okay, well, there you go.
So I don't even think I did a good job. I think I briefly just went over the concept of what Final Destination was. Because you can't, what is there even to talk about with that movie? And so then I didn't do any this last week.
Yeah.
But next week, I'll be back with Elvis stuff.
Yay. I heard you didn't like Blue Hawaii.
Oh, no. No. I did not.
Yeah, I bet that broke your Aunt Kara's heart. I don't know if she listened to that one yet.
No, but
She
we had a
usually
conversation about it when she was up here.
Yeah.
It was civil.
Good. Okay. That's good.
I didn't hate it. It was just so like formulaic and dumb.
Yeah.
This is something I don't know because you've seen it, right?
No,
Oh, you've never seen it.
I've never seen an Elvis movie
Okay.
ever.
Well,
Any. Ever.
This is something that I brought up to her. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I think no one writing this movie knew anything about Hawaiian culture. Not that
Was
I'm
it
an expert.
offensive? Okay.
Elvis is like a rich. He comes from a rich family, in the movie,
Okay.
and they have a servant man, a Hawaiian native. At least I think he's a Hawaiian native, but his name is Ping Pong.
Oh. Yes.
I feel like
I mean, is that for real?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that? I mean,
That's the name
is
of the
there?
guy.
Is that a Native Hawaiian name? I mean, I just am wondering.
Okay.
Like, would they have been that?
Oh,
You know what that makes me think of is Bing Bong from what is that?
from Inside Out. That's not offensive. That's a giant elephant.
I know, but still,
Ping
Ping
pong.
Pong and Bing Bong are pretty close.
They're pretty close. No, fun fact about the Hawaiian language: there's no P,
Oh gosh.
and there's no ing or ong sounds.
Oh.
So it's just straight up like, oh, they're kind of Asian looking.
That's
Let's give
terrible.
them an Asian name.
That is terrible.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
whole thing
gosh.
is like that, where it's like very kind of belittling to the Hawaiian natives that are there.
Yeah.
And there's like weird body shaming,
Oh.
and this is like,
That is of the day.
that's like, yeah.
I mean, I look at things from the 90s sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's horrible. The things they say.
It's like crazy because Elvis like gets back from war and he has like this group of friends that are like his band, and one of them, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna err on the heavier side and say that he's maybe 200 pounds.
Okay.
Realistically, maybe
Yeah.
180.
Wow.
And he's like, "Oh, you got quite a gut, Tito."
What?
And I'm like, he's like he looks like a muscular guy.
Yeah.
Like he's not like shredded, but like he's
Yeah.
just a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And there's a whole song about how much he likes to eat.
Oh wow.
It's called Tito Eat Like Teeth Be Out of Style. That's the chorus. And for me, I was just confused as to what that means.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds incredibly offensive.
Oh, yeah, that's the lyrics. Tito eat like teeth be out of style,
So he doesn't chew.
I guess.
He just inhales his food.
I suppose. I
Wow.
guess. It's just weirdly worded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And there's just like stuff like that littered
Yeah.
throughout. And I didn't have a conversation about the ramifications of colonialism in Hawaii or whatever with my aunt. But I was just like, hey.
But you could have.
I could have. And I was just like, no, it was just kind of formulaic and boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it was that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd be sensitive to that.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was just
Yeah.
like, I don't need to have this conversation.
You don't want to tear one of her favorite movies apart from
No.
one.
No.
Well, that's kind of you.
Well, thank you.
She just needs to listen to the podcast so she can hear it.
Well, I didn't go that much into it in the podcast
Yeah.
either. Because I frankly just don't know enough about like that whole Hawaiian.
Sure, yeah.
stuff.
I mean, you can't know everything about everything.
No.
But if you're making a movie about it, you should.
Oh, yeah. You should know that the Hawaiian alphabet has 13 letters and it's mostly vowels.
Right. Yeah, that's an important little tidbit to know. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Boy, times were different then.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many things where it's like, oh gosh.
I'm very worried because I know, like, I don't think, well, maybe it is. Elvis has a series of movies that he lovingly called the travelogues, which
Okay.
are movies that are set and each one is in a different location.
Oh.
Like, I know there's one that's called Harem Scarum.
I have heard of that.
That one is, I think he's in the Middle East. My dog is licking her feet.
Where's her little...
She, I don't know.
I was looking for that thing she chews on.
The
Sorry
wheel.
for the slurping noises.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up.
Yeah.
Elvis stuff is going to be on the Boy Time podcast coming in the future.
Hi, baby.
And if you are into music at all, she's so sweaty. Okay, perfect. This is great podcast audio.
So great.
And now she's panting. I do music stuff with my friend Babby on Boy Time. Most recently, we reacted to a Swans album. Babby subjected me to that, and I will never forgive him. So,
It's bad, huh?
it's just Swan. If you know, you know.
Okay.
With Swans.
All right.
It's for a very specific group of people.
I see.
And I am not.
You're not that specific group.
No.
Got it.
No. So yeah, check that out. We have coming up soon. What's already out is Little Sims. Very excited for the new Little Sims record. And we are doing another community video. So we posed a question to our audience. Good songs on mid or bad albums.
Oh, that's an interesting prompt. Okay.
Yeah. So the submissions have already wrapped for that, but that video will be coming out soon.
All right.
So check that out. Also check out the community post that I wrote for that because it didn't get quite as much attention as I think it deserved.
Oh.
Because I wrote something for it. And I'll just leave that to the audience to figure out.
Was it in a haiku format?
No, it wasn't a poem. It was
Oh.
a lovely story.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to have to go out and look at that when we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Nice.
So, yeah, check out my amateur writing on the Boy Time
You're a
community
good
post.
writer.
I think so. I spent way too long on that.
It's fun, though.
Babby was like, "Can you write a community post asking for submissions for this thing?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then I sent it back, and I'm like, I got way too carried away because I spent like an hour on it.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, please let me know if you want me to keep it simple, stupid. And
Yeah.
he said, it's perfect. And then he
Okay.
posted it. And I'm like, okay.
Nice.
So that's out in the world. So go check it out. That's all I have to plug.
Okay.
And frankly, that's all I have to say. Now let's wrap this up before she starts screaming. And
I mean, really, I don't know what's next. She's done everything. And right now is in primo panting mode. And
now she's on the move.
Now
And
she's
she's
walking.
click-clacking. Okay.
all right. All right, everybody. Support your local library and call your mom.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.